Hey guys, what's up? Can you guys hear me? Testing, testing. One, two, three. If someone can hear me, can they just put that in the chat box so I know that audio's working? Thank you. Warp, did you get that problem resolved? I sent you a kick with what to do. With that player you wanted re-signed. If you haven't checked your kick, check it. So who do we have in the house? I know we have Warped or No Lifing. FC No Lifing. I know we have Stars Tie in here. Who proclaims himself the best young right back in the world. I see 6 people on my screen, so So who's in here? Write in the chat box. So I know who's in here. There are 5. It's showing on my screen, but that's a little delayed usually. I know Warped or No Lifing's in here, and I know Stars Tie is in here. This one won't be long, guys. I'm just gonna go through a couple housekeeping issues, and I'm gonna go through just the computer generated power rankings. We're starting in 1 minute, guys. 1 minute. Okay, guys, welcome to Vpsa TV. All of you know me as Strictly Slatan, aka the Gator. And today, just a quick little show about what the computer thinks on on the power rankings for VPSA. First off, before I get into that, I kind of want to talk about how the structure is going to work for this season, real quick. The structure is going to work where we're going to go strictly off of points this season. There will be no playoff at the end of the season like last season. Pretty much the team that earns it will win it. At the end, there will be a tournament that will be based off of a seeding for a Champions League Cup. So based on where you end up, if you're number one, if you win the league, you'll be the number one seed, so on and so forth. But we'll get into that on a later date. So pretty much, it's going to be on points. The league needs to be competitive, guys. We're now up to 10 teams. So, I want to see the league grow in a positive manner and head towards a more realistic simulation style of football, in the sense of that we are, rewarding the team that, has dominated all season. Secondly, with that being said, now I'm just going to go into the power rankings. Okay, I'm going to do this in kind of two sections. The first being where the teams are going to end up. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to go top 6 because I'm not going to go and name the bottom 4 teams or where things end up, because I don't think those bottom 4 teams deserve that, because I'll be honest, the bottom 4 teams in the group are the teams that pretty much have unproven players or players that haven't played in the league before. So it's very hard for the computer to evaluate that, because it only goes by, it'll go off your VPSA stats, your career stats, as well as what you're doing as a virtual pro off the EA server. We throw all those numbers into a computer, plus your primary position, and it pretty much spits out numbers on what you should do based on the season. Alright, so number 6 on the list in the computer power rankings is FC Prophecy, Warped Tour's team. You know what? This team is kind of a riddle to me. You have a goalkeeper who I think could be one of the best goalies in the league if he applied himself and really worked. But when you look at it, the thing is, the computer doesn't know a lot of the players he has on his roster. Like, of course, Felipe is known. Abel Giovanni, we know who Abel is. VFC Valencia, I believe, was here last season. So there are a couple of players, but there are a bunch of new players that, the computer knows nothing about. So that kind of threw into the lower ranking. He made a good trade today in getting Soccer Paulo. Paulo's a good player, can play pretty much anywhere. Center back, outside back, goalkeeper, even outside mid if he wanted to. So, I'm looking to see what Prophecy does. In my opinion, it's going to come down to who shines on that team. I'll be honest. I know they're going to have a decent back line. My question is, can Felipe get the horses started up front? So we'll see what happens. Like I said, it's going to be a good season for them, I believe. I just got to see more, or the computer needs to see more before it gives it a higher ranking. All right, number 5. Now remember, these aren't my rankings; these are computer generated, so don't get upset at me. Number 5, it has AC Milan. Now, the interesting thing about AC Milan, they got a good group of guys. When you look at them, most of them are from WSL Shakhtar. Subi Ross is heading that group. I think he's done a great job with them. He's got a high-end defender in Hot Teabags. Cool Green's a nasty outside back. Laura Terry is capable of scoring 30 to 40 goals this season. It just depends on how the service he gets. Mr. Bond, a great defender. Odom is another great defender. So I really think this team is going to do well. My question is, who's going to be in that midfield? I'm guessing these signings he got, Robin and Smokefest, are his midfielders, with 21 Pirlo, who's another good player. To me, they're going to score. They're going to score. My question is, who's the keeper? That might be what the computer's picking up too, because I don't see a keeper on this roster. But maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm missing something. So we'll see what happens. All right. Number 4. This one kind of shocked me. When I look at, what the computer looks at and what they want to do with it, it has the original Don Dadas as number 4. Now, this is another unknown team, but they are a WSL team as well. They have a lot of good ranking top players in the sense of stats-wise. They have, there's really not much to say about the team because I really can't say much. Haven't seen them play, but the computer seems to like their front because it's giving them a very high rating for their scoring. So this may be a team that scores a bunch of goals. I know in the preseason tournament they scored 5, I believe. They scored 5 against the first team they played and 5 against the second team they played. So I think it'll be interesting to see what happens. At number 3, I don't know about this computer ranking. It's got Strictly Yoga at number 3. I'm going to be honest. My club is a club that's in a lot of change right now. We're making a lot of revisions. We're tightening things up. I think we have a chance to be very good. I just think it needs to tighten up a lot. And, I'm not going to knock my guys because a lot of my guys work really hard. But, I'd like to win it, being that this is going to be my last season as owner. I believe that when it comes down to it, it's time to let some of these younger guys take over and do what they know how to do instead of me occupying a team. I got a lot of great guys on this team. I got a lot of guys who can take over. That's not an issue. But for me, I want to see what happens this season with these guys because I know a lot of them worked really hard. We'd like to get them over the hump and get them something out of it, so we'll see what happens. Number 2, and this is off the computer ranking if you just joined us. Total Football. You know what? This club, I don't know what to say. I see a lot of great players on the squad. The computer, I'm going to be honest, the computer likes Gallagher Joe in the net. He's actually rated up there with FP for goalkeeping in the sense of that team has they're like 1 and 1A. It's like a 0.5% difference. They actually have the lowest goals conceded in the league in the computer run, which is quite interesting. They got some players. If you look at it, Maserati, 23, I believe he was once known as Vincenzo. Pickle's a decent center back. King 7's a good utility player. Stars tie the proclaimed best right back. Lindsay, excellent outside mid. I think Air Sanchez, I remember seeing him in ACL as a striker. They just signed Zibran Games, so they got some players. The question is, will it implode? Because you got a lot of players with a lot of egos. Or can Gallagher Joe keep it together? That's going to be the question when it comes down to that. I don't know, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be one of those things where when you come down to it, I'm not trying to say that they're going to be a bad team. I just feel like they may have some players that have egos. But you know what? If you have a good owner, and I don't know what type of owner Joe is, good owners can handle that. And, low lifing, I'm not sure yet at this point. I may just sit out a season or two. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I'm still up in the air about that. I've had offers if I decide to, give it up or, give up ownership and play. But I have to do what's right. So I'll figure it out and, definitely I'll give all teams, a shot. The number one team, and it is FP United. You know what? This is no shock. When you look at the numbers, you look at, they got Khan. Now, the weird thing about Khan is Khan had a little bit of an off period. And I think, with Khan, I'm going to be honest. I think Khan is so good, he gets bored. I really do believe that. I believe he gets really bored. And I expect him to do well this season. I really expect him to pump out the clean sheets. We know now FP Ronaldo is now FP Crespo. It's kind of funny. The computer projects Crespo to have 33 goals this season and 19 assists. So, that's a nice little number. Trying to see what else. You got Carlos, good defender. Solantes, amazing CDM. Sosa, which reminds me, Sosa. I think you need. I'm gonna tell you, I liked Sosa Legend better as a gamer tag, but hey. Alaba, another decent defender. Sato just joined now. What I'm saying is there's a bunch of great players on this team. They have a lot of good leadership. That's the best way to put it. They have a ton. Okay, they got a ton of natural-born leaders who play together and do what they need to do to win games. And you know what? I have a lot of respect for them. When it comes down to it, William, which they call the agent, William, I miss you, buddy. I know you've been busy, but you got to come by and talk to me sooner or later. I want to hear your voice for a little bit. But, overall, I think they're primed for another title. I think they're going to see a little more of a trouble when it comes to overall. The teams that are being brought in, I think, are a higher quality. I think every team's going to improve, the ones that are returning. Overall, I think it's a great thing for the league. I'm going to just go through real quickly some projections for top goal scorers, top assist guys. Okay, and this is off the computer. Computer-rated generated results. It has Crespo with 33 goals. It has Lord Terry with 24 goals. It has me with 24 goals. I think that's a little far-fetched, but who knows. Orange Apple, it has projected with 19 goals. Hattie, it has projected with 24 goals, actually. So, I think it's going to be a great year for a lot of great strikers. Let me see here. Okay, the assists. There's one number that strikes me. I think it's because he's so good that the computer loves him. And I think it threw out such a far-fetched number that I had to redo it 3 times. It has Marvinho with like 40 assists, which is ridiculous. If he hits 40 assists, I'm done. I mean, like, seriously. How many times can this guy, just feed dimes to the FP strikers? I'm going to just say this. This is a personal challenge to all goalkeepers out there. You need to keep FP out of the net this season, or Marvinho's going to freaking lead the league in assists, and I don't know, dude. Let me see. You know what? That's a good question, Xavi. I could tell you that. Pogba's projected with 17 goals. 17 goals and 8 assists right now. Remember, the computer doesn't have as much data when it comes to Pogba. It only has one season's worth of data. So if he has another good year, it'll probably throw him up even more. Overall though, clean sheets for goalkeepers. It has actually a 2 goalkeeper race. The goalkeeper race it has for clean sheets, it has Khan with 23, and it's got Gallagher Joe with 22. So that's interesting. But here's the funny thing, like I said, even though Gallagher Joe's got less clean sheets, it has less goals conceded for total football, which is, And Taddy, I'm sorry, I ran a 4th run of it with a mistake, so that's why your numbers dropped a little bit on those. But, there are a lot of great players out there that are going to have great seasons. I'm already feeling that. With that, I'm going to go through my power rankings very quickly. This is what I feel based off what I see on the rosters. And I'm not going to go through it like who's number 1, who's number 2, number 3. I'm just going to do a quick synopsis on every team and kind of go through the ones. I want to go through my top 5, but in no particular order. Okay? Let's start off with the obvious one. FP United. Great team. Great ownership. Great assistant managers. I'm very impressed with them. I look at it as they have all the talent in the world. And I'll just read off some of the numbers on their key players. These are key players for each team I'm going through. We already talked about Crespo. Marvinho with a ridiculous amount of assists. We already talked about that. Funny thing is, okay, I've heard a little rumor that ZTR may not be playing for FP. I don't know if this is true or not. But it has ZTR with having a ridiculous season. Now, I heard that they may be picking out another great center back. I'm not going to go and throw that out in the air and throw out FP's business. But, I really feel that if they get that center back, they're going to be set anyway. So, we'll see what happens. Total football. We already talked about Gallagher Joe. I have the most respect for this guy because this guy can save anything. Honestly, impressed me in that semifinal, Germany against the United States. He kept them in. Other key players that it has, it has stars tie with let's see, 19 clean sheets. Lindsey Mack has 16 assists. Air Sanchez, 22 goals. King, 18 goals and 16 assists. That'd be a nice year for King, honestly. And it's got Baltimore as well with like 15 clean sheets. I guess it has the computer has him playing as an outside back. So I don't know if that's correct or not, Baltimore. If that's not, get with me. But that's where it has you projected to play. All right, AC Milan. What's weird about AC Milan, like I said, AC Milan, great owner. I think Ross is a hard-nosed, tough owner. It's got tea bags with a whole bunch of clean sheets, but the problem is it's not giving an accurate number because it only has them like 12. The computer doesn't know who the goalkeeper is. Pirlo, 24 assists this season and like 9 goals. Lord Terry, I've already gone over his numbers. You know, I really feel like they could make a run, but I think they need that goalie, that GK, that guy that's going to take over. You know, there have been some rumors. Maybe AC Milan is trying to target Lindsey Mack from Total Football. That would be a good. I think that would be a great acquisition. You know, we'll see what happens. You know, I'm trying to see who else we got here. I'm just trying to see if there's anyone else in these stats, you know, that I should notice. Not in AC Milan. Okay, next. Prophecy. You know, it's weird. The computer, and I'm going to say this, the computer likes Warped Tour. I like Warped Tour. I think Warped Tour is a great goalkeeper. Or I call him Warped Tour. He's now FCP No Life. Yeah, it has him with like 22 clean sheets, which would put him right up there with Joe. The only question with this club is some of these players that the computer doesn't recognize. Now, it didn't recognize X10 El Messi till I made the adjustment because I know he was the owner of Atletico Madrid. So I kind of put those numbers in. It has Valencia with a whole bunch of assists, 18 to be exact. Abel Giovanni with 19 clean sheets, which I can kind of see. He is a quality defender. Felipe, 26 assists. You know, it has Paulo actually with... It actually has Paulo with 8 goals and 15 assists, which is nice. My thing with Warp's team is the strikers. I don't know who's going to score. That's going to be the main question for me. But, great. I think he has a chance to have a very good top 3 to 4 team put together, and they could over-exceed if they get the scoring they need. And finally, like I said, Strictly Yoga. I'm going to be honest. I really think we could make a run. My whole thing with it right now is who's going to step up. And this is a challenge to my players. Who's going to step up and take the reins of this? I'm going to be honest. I feel like we have all the talent in the world. I think we can compete with the big boys. But the question is, are we going to step up and play the way we're capable of? Or are we going to be like a deer in headlights? I look at it this way. If we score, we're going to do great. You know, I feel like, you know, it's kind of funny. I have a lot more younger players this season. What I mean by younger is they haven't been in league as long. But I think there are going to be a couple that step up. Like for instance, Garcia has Garcia having a whole bunch of assists and having a whole bunch of clean sheets, which is accurate, because he's probably going to shift between left back and outside mid or CDM. Philly Delato it has with 19 assists. Let's see, Cage, which I know Cage, you want to know, it has you with, let's see, 11 assists and 4 goals. Vanquish, it's giving Vanquish a monster year. It's giving him 25 assists and 12 goals, which would be a great year for him. I think that's a good number for an outside mid or outside winger. Killa Aqua, 18 clean sheets. Romero having a good year with 12 assists and 12 goals for CDM. That's outstanding. And I've already talked about Hattie and myself. You know, all I'm going to say, guys, these are projections. These are all things that the computer comes up. I kind of come up with my own based on what I see. You know, I'm looking at it like, you know, where things go is up to the players that these owners have. The owners do as much as they can, you know, trying to make things work. You know, and they put a lot of work into it, as well as the assistant managers. And I want to thank those people that have stepped up into ownership and have really done a great job with it. You know, I want to thank William for returning with his team. Crespo, Khan, you know, you guys do a great job over there. You know, I want to thank, you know, Cavino for taking over a team last minute. You know, Killer Ghost, you know, another Killer 07 Ghost, another good owner from WSL that's come over here. You know, FCP No Life, you know, honestly, I'm proud of you, dude. I'm proud of you. But, you know, one thing I got to tell you, No Life, I've heard a couple of your players come in to me saying you're being rough on them. Take it easy on them, dude. Let them grow into it. Don't rush it. Alex, good job, dude. I see your team playing every day. Ross, same deal, man. Busting your rear end. Gallagher, I'm rough on you, but I like you, dude. But I'm going to tell you right now, I don't want to hear another managerial thing from Baltimore. Heads up. Cannavaro's done a nice job putting a team together. I have to thank Cannavaro as well. And you know what? I'm also going to say this. Those Epic, Orange Apple, those guys have kicked ass. In the last week, they got 14 players. You know, I'm impressed with that. That shows me something. So I want to thank each and every one of you guys. As we all know, the season starts Saturday. I'm looking forward to it. Schedule's already up under the statistics tab on the website. I'm going to change that to schedule and statistics between today and tomorrow. Also, I'd like to give a congratulatory bow down to Extinction for winning the preseason tournament. They did a great job. Your cap money and the extra roster slots will be in as of tomorrow. I'm also will be posting the preseason championship cup as well there tomorrow. So, you know, I just want to take the moment to thank all of you guys. I expect it to be a great season. All of you are going to do great. And I guess this is it, guys. So have a great night, and we'll pick this up next week as well. I'll be posting it on the shout box when we start. Have a great night, guys.